right, we are not live, but it is the One to Go show, and it is the morning after drive from the 17th annual John Seitz Memorial. It is Puka speaking. It is Steve-O to my left, your right. And we'll do a little breakdown here before we get started. And we're driving through farm country here. I don't know a lot about farming, but I do know farmers like to make money. And if you want to make money, you got to have good yields. So what you want to do is you want to get a hold of Brad Parsons Soil and Ag Solutions. Noticing some brown corn out here. Maybe Brad Parsons could have helped that, or maybe it was just a drought. But farmers out there, if you're looking for some solutions, something to better your yield, get a hold of Brad Parsons today. And we'll link some of that stuff down into the show notes as far as how to contact him. All right, so last night, headed into the pits, got late. A lot of fun, a lot of people to meet, a lot of people to talk to. So we did not get the video done last night. So like I said, on the ride home here, we're getting her done. Good night of racing. I guess we'll just maybe start with the Midwest mods, or excuse me, the streeters. Hunter Carter from dead last in a caution-filled race. Cautions, of course, probably helped him, but pretty entertaining. Volgo was coming, something broke, ended up pulling off. I don't know, maybe about halfway through the show. Any comments on the streets?
No, it was a good race. It was up front. It was tight the whole time. I think Volgo was third or fourth when he pulled off.
Yeah,
pulled in the infield.
Went to the infield there.
Ryan Aho, you weren't lying. Them street stocks put on a show, and they did last night.
But that's some good racing. All right, Midwest mods. Matt Show, I believe is how you pronounce it, was the winner. But Lance Schill was the entertainer, actually, from the B up to 5th. So congrats to Lance. Super Stocks, a guy we see a lot, Matt Sparby out of Bemidji. Maybe a little bit of a surprise victor, but he has been running well. He won a feature race up at the Dollinger Ford Grand Rapids Speedway 3 weeks ago, a month ago. He had a good run on Friday night, as we saw. And then took care of business last night. So congratulations to Matt Sparby. All right, on to the mods. Of course, neither of us got our picks correct with the Midwest mods. Neither of us got our picks correct with the supers. Getting into the mods, just a single caution, which was kind of a breath of fresh air because the Midwest mods, supers, and streeters did take quite a while. Take a look here at my notes here a little bit.
It was a 30-lap AMA for the A-mods. That caution came out right away, 2 laps in or something.
Yeah.
2, 3 laps in, and then she ran green the rest of the way.
But one of the big things, we actually lost 8 mods from Friday to Saturday. Dustin Strand, I think he just chose to concentrate on the late model possibly. Matt Auckland had a really rough night Friday, so he was coming out for the heat race. All of a sudden you see him backing back up into the pits. Crewman runs over one of the officials. They pull the hood. He spins around back into the pits. He's not going to make it. Well, there happened to be a first lap caution on Friday night in this heat race, so he does end up coming out. He can file in because they hadn't, completed a lap. Was it the heat race that he got through, I think, unscathed? Then he comes out for the B.
There was some,
and then he got caught in an altercation right away.
There was some carnage.
There's some carnage, but he not too bad. But he didn't know, so he's kind of revving, pulls in the infield. You're good to go. Then he dispatched of everyone, won the B. But then comes out in the feature in a late race, the same wreck that took out TPO at the end. He got caught up in that one. So maybe just a frustrating week, and he threw in the towel. Mills from Bemidji was another guy we noticed that wasn't there. One comment I wanted to make also before we get into some of the results. The Wild Child, last night, both in the late model and in the mod, kind of, I don't know if he spun on his own, but he could have caused 2 cautions, and he didn't. So tip of the cap to you.
Kept going.
Yeah, to the Wild Child. The fans aren't there to see cautions, they're there to see racing. He just keeps going, puts his head down, and he's there to race. All right, anything on the feature that you remember? I mean, TPO obviously dispatched it. Remember, we started up on the pole and made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, Grunwald had a good run too. He ended up taking 3rd.
Yeah, it was TPO, Zach, Brock, Stearns.
Yeah,
top 4.
Stearns. Yeah.
And then one thing I noticed about TPO, and this reminded me a little bit of Grand Rapids last week when Kennedy Swan led the majority of that race, but then eventually Shane Sabraski got past her. Is that night, the difference for Sabraski was he dispatched of lap traffic so fast and was able to put distance between him and Kennedy. Same thing I noticed last night. TPO, when he just slices, dices. He does not wait.
He was in kill mode last night. There was no denying him. He wanted to win that one. He had some misfortunes the first part of the weekend. So
he took care of business there. All right. So the big one we're there to see, of course, the 92-lapper, 17th annual John Seitz Memorial, the late models. Pretty uneventful first 32 laps. The fuel stop was on lap 60. I noticed myself up to that point watching, of course, TPO. He started second in?
Fifth. Third in.
Okay, third in.
Yeah, it was 32 laps in. There was caution for debris, and they decided at that time we might as well just do the fuel stop.
So they did the fuel stops up to that point, and then of course a guy that was on the move all night that we noticed in those first 32 laps was Chad Becker, who won a B. And Chad Becker had made his way up to top 10, top 12.
He was 8th, I think, at that time. It was Schill, TPO, Edgington, third.
Edgington or so. Gresseth was there.
And then Mater
was there.
And then maybe Becker was 6th at that time.
Okay, so yeah, he was definitely on the move, up on the top.
Oh yeah, he was hammering on top.
And it was interesting, they did interview some of the drivers at that point, and Edgington said something to the effect of, well, we got a long race ahead, and some of these guys, these young guys, they haven't done this before, and they're going pretty hard. You have to think that he was maybe talking about.
He mentioned rookies, so I'm assuming that was a jab at TPO.
Yeah, maybe something towards TPO there, but back under green. Now this was uncharacteristic. So just a couple laps after, 58 laps in, AJ Demos spun on his own. Of course, my pick. Like I said, uncharacteristic. He did pit. It was kind of a lengthy caution, but so we thought maybe tires, maybe some adjustments, but it looked like, as far as we could tell, it didn't look like any new tires or anything. Made it back out on the track. He ended up pulling off, but just kind of uncharacteristic. Reflecting on the USA Nationals, he had kind of a tough weekend. Now this week, I wouldn't call this a tough weekend for him, because obviously Thursday night was good for him. He had a great heat race, he had a good dash, but just uncharacteristic. And of course, like I said, it was my pick, so we noted that. Lap about 40 in is when lap traffic became a factor. By that point, TPO had sailed into the lead.
No, he was sailing all right. He was sailing. He was driving hard. But a lot of guys were, and we were looking at each other like, I don't know if their tires are going to hold up the way they're running. I mean, they were diving and slicing, dicing, topside, bottom, everywhere. So it was fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly. And then with 15 to go, tragedy strikes the 33 at TPO.
Yeah, TPO, that middle tire in 1-2 there, he tagged it with his nose.
Big tractor tires,
and bent the nose down a little bit. He was pushing clay up over the car, and it had something happen there, and I don't know if it was the steering or what, because he couldn't keep it on the bottom there. He had to skate to the top, and Edgington got by him there, and
Edgington
lap,
had closed the gaps. Yeah, so like 13
Edgington
to go.
Was there. He was a few car lengths behind him, but once that happened, Edgington took the lead, and then there was three more guys got by him, and then caution come out.
Yeah, the caution come out with 8 to go. I think that was that debris, that white debris up in corner 2.
Yeah.
And then so then then all of a sudden who's in second out of the B is Chad Becker. So like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a shootout, because Becker's not necessarily. I mean, he wants to win the race, but Becker is in this hunt for obviously the WISSOTA national title. This would be his 4th, and so they take off at that restart. But Edgington, he sailed off, and a very dominant win.
There was some notes there with that 8 to go too. That Searing spun to bring out that caution, right. And TPO had faded back to 5th or 6th. Well, then Dustin Strand pulls off, Morgan Ward pulls off, and they get him lined back up. And here go Gresseth pulls off. He's in 4th.
He's right there.
And then TPO retired, and he was in 6th. So it shuffled the field up a few spots there, and we were 8 laps remaining going green. Yeah,
so it was just an 8-lap shootout. Like I said, I think Becker gave it all he had, but Edgington was just too strong. So congratulations to the Canadian driver on a good run. Anything else on the late models?
No.
Okay. All right, so just some closing thoughts. You know, we did get to talk, like I said, we rushed into the pits. I wanted to talk with Brad. Brad saying he was a gracious host. We want to thank Brad, great guy. It sounds like he was very happy with the event and everything. So congrats to not just Brad, River City Speedway, FYU Motorsports, you know, the whole deal there. A couple of thoughts I had. I noticed that Grand Forks does not use the move over flag. I thought that was interesting. If anyone is from Forks, you want to comment on that? Like, do they ever use it? Do they use it with, I mean, I'm assuming the World of Outlaws, you know, they got their own flag, man, they use it there, but do they ever use the move over flag on like a regular night? Those tractor tires, I mean, obviously TPO was a victim. There were a lot of people, like I said, the Wild Charlie no hit it. There was, you know, every night people are getting into those tractor tires. I think I'd rather see the tires maybe dug in. Maybe again, if you're a Grand Forks regular, comment, is that an issue typically? And as a driver, I know I've heard drivers in the past say, you know, it's kind of tough because, like I said, you can wreck some stuff. They're big tractor tires. If you're a racer, do you have a comment on that? Kind of like to hear that. And then kind of the highlight of the weekend was right at the end when we were leaving. We actually got to meet John Seitz' son, Nick. So we had a nice conversation with Nick, living over in Bemidji, who is a Mod 4 racer. Now, for those of you, well, many of you know, maybe some of you don't know, the Wazona 100 actually starts today on Sunday over in Bemidji. Mod 4s, Piers, Hornets, Streets maybe, but so if you're a race fan, you're in the area, jump over to Bemidji, go check out the races tonight, or of course Dirt Race Central will have all the coverage, and Dr. Johnny will head over there. So good luck to Nick today, and like I said, nice meeting you, and it was a great way to cap off the weekend. All right, any closing thoughts for you?
Oh, it was our first annual Seitz that we made it. It's been on our bucket list for a while, so I'm glad we were able to go. It was a great time. I'll be there next year. Once my work schedule comes out, I'll be taking vacation and booking rooms, so that'll be happening by January.
Yeah,
I will be out there again for sure.
Well, that's what Brad asked. You can come back next year. I said, well, the stars got my line for me with 4 kids. Every kid was away for their sports yesterday, so I was able to sneak away. So I would like to come back, but I can't guarantee it. I got to look at the sports schedule before I can say that. So with that, like I said, great weekend. Thanks for catching our videos. We appreciate all your listenership. We appreciate your support. And we will catch you all on the next One to Go Show video.